The confrontation between Bigby Wolf from Telltale's The Wolf Among Us and SCP-096 was nothing short of explosive. Bigby, known for his gruff demeanor and sarcastic humor, wasted no time in sizing up his opponent. As he sniffed out SCP-96's white skin, he could sense the danger emanating from the tall, skinny humanoid. Without hesitation, Bigby launched himself at SCP-096, his half-wolf form giving him the strength and agility to match his adversary. Claws and teeth clashed as the two beings fought furiously, each trying to gain the upper hand in the battle. Despite SCP-096 gnashing its body in an attempt to fend off Bigby's attacks, the werewolf's relentless assault only fueled his rage. With a ferocious growl, Bigby transformed into his full werewolf form, his entire body covered in grayish fur. His red eye burned with intensity as he pounced on SCP-096, unleashing a flurry of blows that left the humanoid wounded and bloodied. But SCP-096 was not one to back down easily. It grabbed hold of Bigby's legs and hurled him against the wall, the impact causing the werewolf to snarl in pain. However, this only served to further enrage Bigby, who retaliated by delivering devastating blows to SCP-96's face and body. As the battle raged on, Bigby tapped into his hidden power, transforming into his final giant wolf form. With his purple glowing eyes, he channeled energy into his jaws and limbs, increasing his strength and biting power to levels unseen before. Waves of purple energy cascaded from his roar, pushing SCP-096 back and giving Bigby the upper hand in the fight. Using his newfound abilities, Bigby tore into SCP-096 with ferocity, shattering its legs and crippling the humanoid. With precise movements and calculated strikes, he managed to dismantle SCP-096, tearing through its torso and crushing its severed head between his jaws. As the battle came to a close, Bigby returned to his human form, panting heavily from the exertion. The aftermath of the fight left the room in shambles, with debris scattered all around and the remnants of SCP-96's body strewn across the floor. Despite the intense conflict, Bigby emerged victorious, his prowess as a warrior unmatched. As he surveyed the destruction around him, a sense of accomplishment washed over him, knowing that he had triumphed over a formidable opponent in SCP-096. And with a low growl of satisfaction, Bigby turned and left the scene, ready to face whatever challenges awaited him next. Words. 407. Bigby Wolf stood over the lifeless body of SCP-096, his chest heaving with exertion. The adrenaline was still coursing through his veins as he looked down at the creature he had just defeated. He could hardly believe what had just transpired. Damn, that was one hell of a fight, Bigby muttered to himself, wiping the blood from his hands. He could still feel the power coursing through him, the primal energy of the wolf that had helped him emerge victorious. As he turned to leave, a voice called out from behind him. Bigby spun around, ready to face whatever new threat awaited him. But to his surprise, it was a familiar face. Bigby Wolf, is that you? A voice called out. It was Snow White, his trusted ally and friend. She had been watching the battle unfold from a safe distance, ready to step in if needed. Snow, what are you doing here? Bigby asked, relief flooding through him at the sight of her. I heard about the disturbance and came to see if you needed any help, Snow replied, her eyes filled with concern. Bigby smiled, grateful for her presence. I'm fine, Snow. Thanks for coming. But I think it's time we got out of here before any more trouble finds us. Together, Bigby and Snow walked away from the scene, leaving behind the destruction and chaos that had unfolded. As they made their way back to Fabletown, Bigby couldn't help but reflect on the events of the day. He had faced off against one of the most dangerous creatures he had ever encountered, and emerged victorious. But he knew that there would always be more challenges ahead, more battles to fight. And he was ready for whatever came his way. As they reached the safety of Fabletown, Bigby turned to Snow and said, we may have won this battle, but the war is far from over. We'll need to stay vigilant, always ready to face whatever threats come our way. Snow nodded in agreement, her eyes filled with determination. Together, they would face whatever challenges came their way, standing strong against the darkness that threatened to consume them. And so, the legend of Bigby Wolf, the fierce and fearless protector of Fabletown, continued to grow. And with Snow White by his side, there was nothing they couldn't overcome. Bigby Wolf stood over the lifeless body of SCP-096, panting heavily as he reverted back to his human form. The adrenaline was still coursing through his veins as he surveyed the destruction he had caused. The once terrifying creature now lay in pieces at his feet, a mere shell of its former self. As he caught his breath, Bigby couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He had faced off against one of the most dangerous entities in existence and come out victorious. But the victory was bittersweet, as he knew that there were countless other threats out there, waiting to be dealt with. As he turned to leave, a voice called out from behind him. It was William Carver, the survivor who had narrowly escaped SCP-96's wrath. He thanked Bigby for saving his life and asked how he could ever repay him. Bigby simply shook his head and replied, just stay safe out there. There are things in this world that you can't even begin to imagine. But as long as there are people like me around, we'll do our best to protect you. With that, Bigby Wolf disappeared into the night, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a sense of hope for those who needed it most. And as he walked away, he knew that his work was far from over. There were still plenty of monsters out there, waiting to be tamed by the big bad wolf. Bigby Wolf stood over the lifeless body of SCP-096, panting heavily as he reverted back to his human form. The adrenaline was still coursing through his veins as he surveyed the destruction he had caused. The once terrifying creature now lay in pieces at his feet, a testament to his strength and ferocity. As he caught his breath, Bigby couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He had faced off against one of the most dangerous entities in existence and emerged victorious. But the victory was bittersweet, as he knew that there were countless other threats out there, waiting to test his mettle. But for now, Bigby allowed himself a moment of respite. He turned to leave, his mind already moving on to the next challenge that awaited him. As he walked away, he couldn't help but wonder what other dangers lurked in the shadows, ready to test the limits of his strength and courage. But one thing was certain, Bigby Wolf was ready for whatever came his way. He was a force to be reckoned with, a protector of the innocent and a hunter of the wicked. And as long as there were threats to be faced, he would be there, standing tall and ready to fight. The legend of Bigby Wolf would live on, a tale of bravery and determination that would be whispered in hushed tones by those who knew of his exploits. And as he disappeared into the night, his silhouette a dark shadow against the moonlit sky, one thing was clear, Bigby Wolf was a force to be reckoned with, a hero in a world of darkness.